Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Bowman here, and today we are playing more Planescape Torment. And we are continuing on the main quest here, and we are about to hopefully be helped by this this young lady in a brothel. So here we go. Kisai Sarah smiles warmly as you draw near her, pushing a wavy lock of hair away from her bright crimson eyes. Well, greetings once again. Something I can do for you? I need you to give me a piece of yourself, Kisai. This is important because if you remember, a few episodes ago we found out that this particular prostitute, as they're called, is actually the daughter of Ravel. And last episode we found the only way to reach Ravel's maze is to find a piece of her. She looks alarmed. Pardon? The portal key to Ravel's maze is a piece of her, and you are her blood. It is close enough. She gasps. You intend to seek her out? Her surprise quickly changes to an expression of wariness. What would you need of me? Your blood, most likely. Only a drop or two, I'm sure. She nods, but do you have some way to carry it? A piece of cloth, like a handkerchief or something, you know? Yes, here.
Updated my journal.
She takes the handkerchief and gingerly pricks the tip of her finger on it with her fangs. After letting several drops of the blood soak into the cloth, she returns it to you. You're placing yourself in a grave danger, you know. Even the stories of my mother are greatly exaggerated. She's horribly powerful and completely evil. Good luck. Yes, so I've heard.
In knowing the teachings of Zerthamon, I have become stronger.
The short, scholarly man, a tight, nervous frown on his face, looks up to you and down. Greetings, I am Finham. I must beg your pardon, sir. I care little for guests, invited or otherwise, so unless you have business with me, I would ask you to leave. I did have some questions. I would have you know that I'm a scholar and a linguist, sir. While I shall happily entertain any questions regarding my field of study, language, and the like, I can be of no help to you in other matters. Unfold the dodecahedron to a plate with writing on it, and ask if he can translate it. He takes the unfolded dodecahedron in his hands and examines it closely. This language is a long dead one, known to virtually no one. I believe my father, a linguist like myself, knew this language and may well have been the only man in Sigil at the time that could understand it. I'd recognize it from his notes, but I cannot translate it. Do you have those notes still? He shakes his head. They'll be of no use to you if you're looking to translate or anything. And the few actual books he had pandering to that language disappeared around the same time of his murder, I believe. Your father was murdered? He nods. Strangled he was. He had left to tutor someone. He taught various languages to supplement his research income and was discovered dead in a sign chamber of the Civic Fest Hall. The killer was never found. This was perhaps 50 years ago, but I was just a child. He knew the language, though, and could teach it? Surely he did, and could, were he alive today. My father is said to be a great teacher. He sighs sadly. I have his skills with language, but not his patience for others, sadly. Is he interred in the mortuary?
Updated my journal.
Why, no, his ashes are kept here. He points to a bronze urn sitting atop a cabinet beside a bouquet of purple flowers. Why? A wry smile crosses his lips. Necroscope, are you? Speak with the dead? He suddenly frowns. I have no wish to speak of these things any longer. You'll have to excuse me, sir. Farewell.
I'm gone.
There's an urn atop the small cabinet full of ashes and charred bits of bone. Etched into the base of the urn are the words, Finn Adelaide, beloved husband, father, scholar of 100 languages. The ashes seem to stir faintly, as if moved by your breath. A faraway voice whispers up from within the urn. Why? Why have I been summoned to these ashes, cold and grey as the heart of a hag? To answer some questions, spirit. Ask, then, so that I may return to my most quiet thoughts. Describe to him the writing from the folding dodecahedron. Ask if he knows the language. Yes, I know that tongue. I was a linguist and scholar, you see. I was murdered by a student of mine, murdered so that I could not teach another the language that I taught him. The tongue of the Uo was one of the rarest in the multiverse. I knew of none who spoke it, save myself and that one damnable murderous student. So can you help me learn this dead language? I could teach you this language, yes. It would please me to do so. In fact, if only despite that bloody-handed student long ago. First, tell me what language you do speak. Learn what you can from the spirit. As the spirit speaks to you of the lost language of the Uo, there is a throbbing sensation in your temples as the memory begins to surface. Memories of this language. You recall letters, words, phrases until, like a spire wind blowing away in the blanket of poisonous smog over the great foundry, the language is once more revealed to you in its entirety.
Updated my journal.
There's another memory, though, bubbling to the surface, a darker one. Its presence troubles you somehow, fills you with unease and unexplained pages of guilt. The spirit seems mildly confused at your apparent proficiency in the language. You seem to possess some grasp of the language already, student. Yes, I think I understand enough of the language now. Thanks, and farewell.
Updated my journal.
The tablet turns out to be a journal of sorts, one kept by some prior incarnation of yourself, it would seem, and not an altogether sane one either. There are only a handful of completely coherent sections. What do you wish to read about? Read about whispering shadows. The whispering shadows are not the shadows moving. They are speaking, plotting, talking to each other. I can understand some of what they say. The book tells me things, whispers things. It tells me to avoid the ghost girl. Avoid her. I don't know her, and she torments me. Read about hiding something within your own body. And so I swallowed it, hoping it'd catch my bowels. I can make someone remove it when I need to. Read about paranoid ranting. I've learned that my life is not my own. I will not allow you to have my life. You will have to pull my life from my broken body if you want it. It's you who will die. If I cannot have it, neither will you. You are responsible for this treason of flesh. You will not live to live my life. Read about accursed tattoos. The accursed tattoos will not leave my skin. I have tried to burn them off my skin. Failed. I try and cloak myself, but I always feel that people are reading my flesh, reading me like a book. Whenever they look at me, I want to tear their eyes out, pluck them from their sockets, and crush them beneath my heel. Read about dreams in Ravel. Why can't I dream? I used the goblet of Samir to force a waking dream. I saw a hag. She tempted me, threatened me with shadows. I have never seen her, but she came when I dreamt. I must not dream again. I must always be aware. I destroyed the goblet. She says she is someone of power and that she will have me. She will find me. Get away, hag. Stay far away from me. Leave me in peace. I want nothing to do with you. Her voice reeked of evil talons like spiders. They burrowed into my gray matter, and I needed her out of my mind. Out, hag. She was a myth, a fairy tale, who alone challenged the Lady of Pain. How can one fight someone who is a myth? I don't have the weapons. I need a weapon that will kill her. Should she find me, I need a strategy so she cannot defeat me when she comes for me. I must devise and think. I shall beat her. Read about the danger of names. Fear names. Names have power of identity. Names can be used as weapons by others. They are a hook that can be used to track you, find you, hunt you across the plains. Remain nameless and you shall be safe. Read about the killing in the fest hall. I went to the fest hall looking for the path of my false self in its hall. So glaring was it that those I did not know, the false ones, welcomed me into their confidence, treated me as a friend, showed me my room, attended to my needs. I had to restrain myself from launching out against them. That would have been premature. First, I needed to protect my identity. I found one who knew the exclusive language of the Uo, learned it as if I could, then killed him. Then I went to the sensorium and prepped to end the matter soon. That's kind of what I was thinking was going to happen. Read about the murder of the one who tried to help you. There's nothing he can do. Memories are gone, he says. Never to return. He says lies and tells me this is what he told me. Lies, he says. My mind is weakening from every death. Lies. He sat there, betraying my confidence with every turn. He says that only after 3 more deaths, 3 more lives, will I gain the benefit of keeping my memories. But I, that myself, will die. When I die, how can he be immortal and still die? He could not answer, so he was of no use. I butchered him, so that no other incarnation will ever benefit from his uselessness. Read a cryptic answer from an unknown source. So the ghastly head said, "You have been divided. You are one of many men, one in many men. You bear many names. Each has left their scars on your flesh." Lost one, immortal one, incarnation's end, man of 1,000 deaths, the one doomed to live, restless one of many, the one whom life holds prisoner, the bringer of shadows, the wounded one, misery bringer, Yemeth. Read something about a legacy. A legacy, the note read. Forget not to collect your legacy in a small code scratched inside it. 55AA. A trap, no doubt, set by another of my false selves. I'll see it destroyed, I will. This older, stern-looking woman is clearly on her way somewhere. When she notices your approach, she studies you with a disapproving, tight-lipped frown. Greetings. The woman nods curtly, speaking in a tone cold as ice. Yes? What is it? And watch your words, for I am Diligence, 4th Magistrate of the Ward. You're who? Diligence simply stares at you, a faintly disgusted look upon her face. Something troubling about my appearance? I should most certainly think so. Should the Apparel Regulation Act be passed, people of your sort won't be permitted to trapeze about in such a manner, half naked and filthy as you are. I'm quite clean, begging your pardon, and meaning no disrespect, madame. Some cultures might find your clothes offensive. She examines you skeptically for a moment, then nods. Your point is well taken, sir. Still, though, you cannot deny you are a rather rough-looking sort of fellow. My appearance is merely a product of my environment, madame. In a difficult life, I shouldn't be held accountable for that. Oh, but you should. How easy it is for one to blame one's life when one's surroundings for their every failing. I can see by your manner you are well educated, sir, yet you appear to insist upon a lifestyle of wandering and senseless violence. Why not settle in Sigil, become a contributing citizen, rather than some bloody-handed nomad in the streets? The choice is out of my hands, I assure you. Oh, how so? Her coldness melts away into a look of curiosity. It is difficult to explain. Nonetheless, I would bid you to do so, sir. Tell her your story, I'll let you know of it. You finish telling your story. Diligence looks shocked. That is quite a tale, sir. Were it only a tale, madame, it is my life, and I have the scars to prove it, as you noted when we first met, I believe. Yes, quite so. She smiles slightly. You begin to wonder if she was even capable of such a thing. I wish you luck, sir, in your undertakings. May you find yourself once more. Thanks. I did have some questions. She shakes her head. I'm afraid I'm a busy woman, sir. My position as 4th Magistrate leaves me little time with which to answer your questions. I'm sure another citizen could help you, however.
I'm gone.
This man is dressed in soft blue robes, covered with intricate designs despite their opulence. However, the robes look wrinkled and worn. You place the man's age somewhere between middle age and early 60s. The blurry lines make an exact determination difficult. As you enter, the man turns slowly towards you. As he does, you are suddenly struck with the terrible sense that you know this man, or did at one time. Greetings. The man squints as if trying to place you. Yes? Is there something that I can help you with?
Updated my journal.
Who are you? I am Mianis. He studies you and frowns. Were you looking for me? I don't know. What is this place? I'm an advocate. These are my offices. Yanna's voice takes on an irritated edge. Do you seek counsel? If not, perhaps you had best test your curiosity somewhere. Curiosity elsewhere. An advocate,
Updated
what's that?
My journal.
Morty breaks in with a whisper. He's saying he's a lawyer, a counselor, one of those Burks who rattle their bones boxes in the courts. His frown deepens. An advocate provides counsel, helps others navigate the labyrinths of Sigil's legal system, arranges legacies for citizens to ensure that their property is divided as they choose upon death, Defends those in sigil courts who have been wrongly accused. Did you need help in any of these areas? Legacies? They are contracts that are deliverable at the death of the client. They provide specifics on how a person's possessions are to be divided upon the event of their demise. I've also heard them called wills. Actually, I believe you have a legacy for me. Indeed, very well. Do you remember the legacy in question? The legacy number is 51 AA, I believe. He looks at you in surprise as you name the legacy. That is extremely old. Are you certain? A shocked look comes upon his face. I hope that wasn't one of the ones that was burned. How old is it? Well, several decades at least. You said it might have been burned. What do you mean? He looks sad. Yes, this office was the target of a senseless act of vandalism. A year ago, we had a break-in here at the office. The vandals stole Desire seemed to be burned from my legal documentation. Much was lost. A shame, really. Sigil can be quite wearing on a person's faith. He seems to lose an inch as he mentions sigil. The vandal only damaged certain documents. Irreplaceable. Can you check and see if it still exists? Oh, yes, of course. It will take a moment. Very well, I'll wait. He returns starting. Yes, fortunately it was unharmed by the fire. All the articles are safe. Could I collect on it? I'm the beneficiary. Of course, sign here and here on the dotted lines. There we are. That should be the last of the paperwork. Here are all the items that were in the vault. One looks like a foundry receipt, though quite an old one, to be sure. Did the deceased have something commissioned at the foundry? I don't really know. Perhaps I'm beginning to think about anything as possible. Where's the foundry?
Updated my journal.
It's located in the lower ward, just past the Great Gate. For the look for the Godsman guards at the gate. Very well, perhaps there's something else you can help me with. Have we met before? The man studies you for a moment, frowning in thought. The wrinkles on his face become more pronounced as he does, and you're again struck by the toll that age seems to have placed on him. No, yet you seem familiar. He continues to study your features, then shakes his head. I will concede that there is something familiar about you, sir, and I apologize for any insult my failing memory may have given you at this moment. I have been preoccupied for some time now. Have we met before? I think so. I can't really remember myself. Frustrating for both of us, it would seem. Can you tell me about the fire? There's nothing much to say about the matter. It was a strange, localized fire. I cannot imagine what would have been precious in the documents that were burned, but someone must have wanted them destroyed. I may have been responsible for the fire. You? What do you mean? I may have done it at some point in the past when I was not in my right mind. I regret my actions and ask for your forgiveness. But he looks almost lost for words. But why? Some of the things that were burned, they were precious only to me, irreplaceable. It is likely that one of those mementos or documents was threatening to this other self of mine. I do not believe I will never know. Your other self? What are you speaking of? I have a peculiar condition. I lose myself on occasion and become someone else for a time. During that time, my actions are not my own. He frowns. He seems to be thinking the matter over. I've heard of such symptoms of the mind, temporary amnesia and the emergence of another personality. Then there is the fact that you have chosen to claim responsibility for the crime. That is similar to my condition. I came to ask you forgiveness for the crime.
Updated my journal.
He frowns, then his expression relaxes. There is nothing to forgive. I have come to terms with the loss, and no lasting harm has been done. I do not know why the target was chosen, however. There is nothing of value among the documents burned. Where were the documents? Legacies, mostly, some very old ones. They are contracts that are deliverable in the death of the client. I have another legacy of a young woman. Indeed, do you remember the legacy number? 687KS? That! His eyes widen as you name the legacy. My daughter's legacy, he looks shocked. How do you know my daughter? I'm not certain. There is a sensory stone in the fest hall that held the legacy number. His eyes blaze with hope. There is? But which one? You must tell me. It is one of the sensate sensory stones. If you are not a sensate, you could not gain access. He thinks for a moment. I must find a way. Perhaps they would make an exception for her father. If you wanted, I could speak to someone. I'm certain they would make an exception in your case.
Updated my journal.
He looks relieved. If you could, I would be most grateful. I'll see what can be done. I would like to know more about Dianara, though. What was she like? Dianara, she was young. She had recently joined the Society of Sensation, the Sensate's not unpleasant faction, but she had also met someone there. She followed him on a journey, and there she died. Her bod... He looked pained. I was not even able to recover her body. I saw a woman by that name interred in the mortuary memorial hall.
Updated my journal.
Yes, I arranged for a bearer to be placed in the memorial hall. There's no body there, of course, but I hoped the bearer would serve as a marker by which she may find her way home. It worked. Her spirit resides there now. What? What did you just say? Her spirit resides in the memorial hall. I spoke with her for a time, and she seems to be in distress. You spoke to her. He seems to become more confused by the moment. What distresses her? I'm not certain. I wasn't able to make out what she was saying. I will travel there as soon as I am able to investigate the matter for myself. If your words carry truth, sir, then I am indebted to you. It is no matter. Tell me again. You say she was a sensate? Yes, he becomes slightly more animated, as if warming himself on a precious memory. She had joined them because of her gift and the fact that there was so much more about the multiverse that she wanted to experience. The sensates lend themselves readily to the sharing of experience and sensation.
Updated my journal.
Gift? Oh, yes. My daughter had the blood of an oracle running in her veins and was the unreliable talent at times. She could predict events before they took place. She had sight. She could see through time itself, sift through the threads of fate. Do you know anything about this man she journeyed with? Little. I barely even knew of his existence until she had departed. By then it was too late to have known him. I believe the man was me, but I have forgotten much. You are the one, and you say you have forgotten? He draws himself up. He looks like he is squaring himself up for battle. You have forgotten. But the incident was not so long ago. How can this be? Like I said, my condition, I lose myself. Anything you could tell me about myself or your daughter would be invaluable. Countless liars have I known in my tenure in this city. You do not strike me as one of them. At least on this matter. If you truly do not remember, then whatever befell you and my daughter on your journey must have left deep scars. I'm inclined to agree. Then I ask your word on this. If your memory returns and you discover what has happened to my daughter, return to me so that my mind may be at last rest on this matter. I will do that. Very well then. Now leave. I wish to be alone with my thoughts. I had some questions. We'd be pleased to answer what questions we can, so long as they pertain to the festival of the Society and Sensation. There is a man, Ionis, whom I was hoping you would grant temporary access to the private sensorium. And for what reason would we allow such a thing? Because one of the stones there contains a fragment of his daughter's experiences. She died far from home, not having seen him for a long while, and he mourns her loss deeply.
Updated my journal.
He nods. Thinks for a moment, then nods again. Yes, we shall allow this Ionis to enter the private sensorium, well escorted, of course. You may tell him he has permission. My thanks. Farewell. You see Ionis, he turns as you enter, and his eyes light up hopefully. Ah, at last. Were you able to convince them to grant me access to their sensorium? Yes, they agreed to give you access to your daughter's sensory stone. I thank you, good sir. Thank you. I'm in your debt. It was no trouble. Please go see the experience of your daughter. I think they may ease your troubles.
Updated my journal.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I think we'll end this episode here. Thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Planescape Torment. As always, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and we'll see you all in the next one.